Welcome to another episode of CarpFishing.Tips. This week we were at 50 Rand Dam here in Alberton. This is our position for the day. It was more or less in the middle of the main dam, the first dam you come to when you go to 50 Rand Dam here in Alberton. And this is the events of our day. Coming up is the bombs we used. We had a mealy bomb with honey and bun spice dip, as well as hair rig marshmallows with honey and bun spice. A mealy bomb with FX and Devil's Drac dips, flavored with flavored corn and floaties, vampire floaties. We had a mealy bomb with FX and Devil's Drac, as well as a hair rig with fake corn. And we had another mealy bomb with PVA mesh peas and sweet corn, matching hook baits, as well as just plain mealy bomb. And then on the far left is just the PVA mesh with peas and sweet corn, which we sorted out on the day. At the side of the dam, as you can see, they didn't make the PVA mesh dissolve. We'll show you in the video exactly how we got that right. It was an idea that came to us. So we started out with getting some water out of the dam, and as you can see in true CarpFishing.Tips style, we expertly forgot to pull the handle up over the bucket. So when you pull the rope back, you'll actually have water in the bucket and not the bucket just rolling around on the water. Anyway, once we got that fixed, we then actually got some water out of the dam to make our mealy bomb. And the reason why we put this in was just to show you the kind of day we were having. This is us making preparing the peas and the sweet corn. So this is your normal frozen peas and frozen sweet corn that you find in the supermarket. We got some breadcrumbs from the supermarket as well. We were going to make boilies with them, but then couldn't find the recipe we were looking for. So we decided to take it with us to the dam. Maybe we'll figure out something. And we ended up figuring out to put the breadcrumbs with the sweet corn and the peas. It's your normal garden peas and your normal sweet corn from the frozen food aisle. And just shake them up with some breadcrumbs, which will obviously soak up all the water and make it PVA mesh friendly. We thought we were quite clever doing this, but I'm pretty sure I saw this on Catfish and Carp, or maybe even Totally Awesome Fishing. I'm sure on one of those channels I saw this. Handy little trick to know if you ever have PVA mesh and you've got slightly damp bait. This will sort it out and make it PVA friendly. So here you see us opening our PVA mesh in a very bad way. Like I said, this past weekend's fishing is a really weird session. Things were just weird things just kept happening. Our mealy bomb was too wet, and then it was too dry, and then it was like a brick. This is just a really weird fishing session. But as you can see, our PVA mesh hack seemed to work quite well. We did come up with an idea. We've got some 40mm PVC pipe, which we'll use to put the PVA mesh in and then wrap it around so that it makes it easier to fill it. Here we're just battling to put a knot through it. So then we realized if you twist the PVA mesh, it'll make it a little bit more controllable, so that you can actually make a knot out of it. So we just did a small one to start off with, put it on the side, then let it sit to see if it dissolves. This is one of our other mealy bombs with Devil's Drac, FX floaties, and FX and Devil's Drac ball dips. And then we decided to launch it out straight ahead. We did see a couple of rises in the middle of the lake, like literally in the middle of the lake. I don't have the confidence to cast that far, and especially on this day where our mealy bombs kept coming off of the ground bait holder, and it wasn't a day to try and cast that far. We do normally get quite a bit of distance out of these rods. They're actually pretty good given they're super cheapies. As you can see, we made the mealy bomb a bit flat to try something different. We hooked up the PVA mesh with some garden peas and sweet corn. Did the same, put sweet corn on the bottom hook, and then we launched it out. This rod was actually quite close. We spoke to another angler just further down on at the next larper, and he was saying in the margins he normally catches fish, and for some reason in this session it just didn't occur to us to put a rod in the margins. This blue rod was about as close to the margins as we got, which still was a little bit of a ways out, but probably about a meter away from the bank. So I don't know if you consider that the margins or not. But yeah, our little carp alarms. Love those carp alarms. They're actually really cool. Work well. I like the switch because that means saves battery. And the switch is quite hard to move up and down. So it's when you turn it off, it stays off. Here we just finished setting up another rod. I think this was the one with the fake horn. And we cast it out. Terrible cast. It didn't really go anywhere. But yeah, it was interesting to say the least. Just busy tightening up the line now. And as luck would have it, guess what happens? The little blue rod goes off. So now, I'm still trying to decide if there's actually a fish on the end, which obviously, with that bend in that rod, there's definitely a fish there. To add insult to injury, I had to go around the larper. I don't know if you can see it in this video. I can't remember if I've clipped it or not. No, I haven't. So you'll see in a moment that how this fish did it, and it's the first time it's ever happened to us, but he actually wrapped himself around the other rod's line, which was literally in the water for 2 minutes before this fish took off. I mean, the ground bait probably hadn't even hit the bottom of the lake, and he'd wrapped himself around the line. So I'm busy fighting the fish and trying to get the 2 lines untangled, because I'm not sure how difficult it's going to be to do that once the fish is actually much closer to the bank. Anyway, this little fish is giving us a bit of a tug. It's a really aggressive fish, surprisingly enough. Had a lot of energy, and it's just pulling that poor little blue rod all over the place. As you can see, I'm still battling to try and get the line out. And I managed to get it out. Yeah, okay. So now we can actually focus on fighting the fish. So as you can see, we forgot that the net at the rod pod. In all the excitement, got to go and get it. So I'm just setting the rod down. Hopefully the fish isn't going to take the rod in the dam, because that's already happened to us far too many times. And guess what? The fish stayed on all this time. Through all of this chaos and disorganization, we finally managed to actually get the fish to come towards the bank. What a scrap. He was actually actually such a beautiful fish and gave us such a good fight. My only regret of this was that I didn't fight him a bit harder to keep him, tire him out, so that he was a bit easier to handle on the bank. He was still rolling around in the net when we finally got him in, so that was a bit unfortunate, and because of that I didn't manage to get a picture of him, because I was also worried with the way he was so energetic. I didn't want to keep him out of the water too long. The hooks got stuck in the net as well, so I just, for the sake of the fish, I got the hook out of his mouth and put him back in the water. I didn't want to stress the fish out more than I had to. And like I said, with the fishing session we were having, I didn't want to take any chances. And here we go. Is he going to get into the net? Yeah, the net the net was even tangled up in itself. Guys, like I've said a million times before, we're just two idiots with a couple of rods. You know, the fact that we managed to catch any fish is a miracle. And yeah, you'll see him start, and he's still fighting. Look at him, it's just going crazy, doesn't stop for a minute. And this is about the best shot we could get of him. And that was the best shot we had of him. Unfortunately, I couldn't actually get a proper picture of him. And then I thought you guys would like to see what the rod pod actually looks like in action, in inverted commas. It actually came in handy on this bank. The bank was really steep, coming up and going down, but the rod pod handled it perfectly. I didn't have to cart things up and down the little hill. It worked really well. The wheels had enough clearance to go up the hill, had enough clearance to go down the hill. It worked perfectly. The only problem we had was that the nut on the one side came off, so we're going to have to get a longer piece of galvanized threaded rod just to make it, just to secure those nuts. Yeah, that galvanized rod's been cut too short from our original build, so we just need to go get a new one, make it a bit longer again. And here you'll see us put it in the car too, so you can actually see how it fits in the back of the car. It's purpose built for my boot, with my crates and all the rest of it inside. So literally, I know that as long as my boot doesn't have any shopping in it, it'll fit in. There you see us tying back the bolt. That one came off. You do find a handyman that knows how to screw those bolts and keep them in. And yeah, so there, it's a little bit of a tight squeeze. It's not too bad. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, share with a carpy friend. Our top tips for this video is take some natural bait with you, like sweet corn and peas and that kind of thing. It's the only thing that caught us a fish. The fishermen near us used protein pellets, and that got them a bite on this particular day. And another really helpful thing is to have one of those camelback hydration bladders. They're really awesome. Fill it up with some water. It takes, the one that we have takes about 2 liters, especially if you're alone and you're on your own, you can strap it to your back and take a sip of water whenever you want. It does keep stuff cold and all the rest of it. And what other tips do we have for you? Yeah, take some breadcrumbs with you for any kind of moist bait. Dry it up, use it in PVA mesh. As always guys, share with a carpy friend, and we'll chat soon.